Merry meet all. Yay! Oh, look at you. You're your mother's daughter, alright. Zoomies. You're like a yellow submarine. So the duckies are originally officially 2 weeks and 2 days old. Wow, they are big puppies. You're big ducklings. Yes, you are. Yeah. So the one with the darker bill, that's Bella's baby. The one with the lighter bill, the other blondie, that's Suna's baby. And the other two are obviously the cayugas. Yes. And that is Inga. Oh, we missed a dive. Oh, there we go. We got another dive. You having fun? So this is officially also their first time actually swimming. So the past 2 days, after the 2-week mark, I've had them waddling in, you know, water that's not deep enough for them to dive like they're doing now, just to build up some leg strength. So sort of like forcing them to walk in water. And I don't know if you've ever tried that yourself. It's pretty hard. You know, and you don't realise how much you're doing until afterwards. The delayed onset muscle soreness kicks in, or DOMS. But anyway, I think they're pretty happy. So health-wise, they're all pretty good. However, the last one that was born, the larger of the two dark ones, this one here, that's closest to us, she does seem to have a slightly swollen hock, and that is an ankle in human correlation or terms. And it's, which side is it? I can't remember. Is it this left side? It just looks slightly more swollen. That this is kind of a perfect temp for her, height, water. So she's always been, I've gone back and had a look at the footage, and she does seem to be, her gait on that side, she tends to drop on it a bit. Now, just, it looks like a knee, so a lot of people mistake what's on the duck, that's the ankle, they think it's a knee, because they're thinking human terms. Well, human terms, we have the same structure, but their toes to ankle is elongated. So that bending backwards is a totally normal position for an ankle to be if you were a human. Not for a knee, obviously, so it doesn't make sense, does it? So what's the knee? When they're drying off, I'll do another recording, because at this stage you can actually see a bit more of the duck anatomy when they're little, because they don't have all the feathers, you see. They've just got fluff. But their knee is literally underneath their little breastbone there, so you don't actually see the knee. It's almost tucked into the body a little bit, and then further up at the back is their hips, and their hips are quite close together. So the way their legs are set up is one of the other reasons why they can be so fragile with their legs and handling them. So you should never be holding a duck with its legs flailing around. It kind of irritates me when I see people do that, you know. From homesteaders to newbies and owning ducks alike, like they just pick them up by the body and their legs are like dangling, and you have to support their legs. So that's why I use one hand as a platform for their feet to be on, and then the other hand goes underneath the crop and the keel, underneath the torso. And their bodies are like a little boat. They have like a little dent bone keel in the center. So I'm basically cupping under that with my other hand. Yeah. Hello, puppies. You having fun? Look at you. Look at your little scrabbly feathers coming from your tails. Wee, waggy tails. You having fun? Oh. So I'm in a position where I'm going to start swimming these guys twice a day in the water like this, just like their parents, I guess. But the parents, it's more for the. Sorry, I'm sitting on a stool. When it comes to the parents, it's more for cleaning up in the morning after sleeping all night, and then cleaning up before going to bed at night. But for these guys, it's mostly to strengthen their legs and get them to be really good swimmers. Now, So the one with the little spots on the wings here, yeah, so it's the right leg. This one here that she's scratching her face with. So when she's standing out of the water, she struggles to do that with that leg. It's a little tiny bit more swollen than the other one, but it's sort of come down a little bit. Here. Excuse me. No, it's the left leg. Yeah, so there's that one. So she doesn't seem to have any positioning of the hip joints per se. It looks like she has either sprained or done some sort of fracture on the ankle joint. Now, she was the last one to hatch, and I don't know if you remember, but her eggshell, she was trying to break through it for the longest time, and eventually I just had to get a tweezer and just lift one of the cracks that she was struggling to push through. So I don't know if that delayed hatching, delayed oxygen interfered somewhat in her development of the legs, and it's left her predisposed, and she's actually hurt it somehow. So, you know, that's the thing, like sometimes an acute injury or an injury that just happens, it can be just on the face of just because you've got an injury, but it can also be that you've opened up a predisposition to having that injury by the formation and development and range of motion of the structure in that area or in referral areas. So you're putting a unnatural load. So you add a little bit of extra, then boom, something goes, and that's human or non-human animal alike. We all have a most animals have a musculoskeletal system, and biomechanics, kinesiology, laws of physics usually apply. So anyway, so we're going to keep an eye. You know, I'm tempted to strap her hock, just so it's not, you know, she's not getting pressure. I do have a balm of comfrey, which is in old culturally ways we refer to it as knit bone in Europe, and so I'm rubbing that on her legs, on her ankle. Look at those legs! Oh my goodness! Oh, swing, 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 swing. Good girl. Good ducklings. I don't know what gender they are. I'm just hoping they're girls. Because I've got 3 boys already. But whatever happens, happens. We'll roll with it and we'll figure it out. But anyway, so I'm fine with calling them girls for now. And if it turns out to be a dude, that's fine. Or one turns out to be a dude, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I've got 2 disabled girls, and you know, Suna's getting long in the tooth. You know, when she goes, we're gonna have a shortage of girls for free Luna, and then Flinch has already kind of got a shortage because his partner, Catherine, she's disabled, and we lost Bella, and this is Bella's baby on the left here, and so we were already pushing it, so I really did need to replace and have more ducklings to keep my ratios up, to keep things tickety-boo, especially when the boys are all hormonal and they're all crazy beginning of spring hormone time. There's not enough girls. The girls that you do have can get quite tired and lose too many feathers, and you know, it's not a good thing. So, baby, you're so like your mama. Yeah, we miss your mama. She's beautiful. Yeah, she was. Belladonna. She used to do these big honkies as well. She'll honk, honk, honk. Quite, you didn't know, it's part amazing and part terrifying when silver apple yards honk and bellow. And the neck expands and this is a big bellows. So, whoa. Are you having fun there? Now the water is warm, as if I was going to put a baby in warm water. Not too hot, not cold. So you need to keep the heat lamp going for the 8 weeks. I know there's people out there that don't use a heat lamp, but it is kind of critical because this period of time is where everything develops, and not having enough heat can impact the formation of their bones. It can impact the formation of their organs, everything. And you know, they're not like ducks in the wild. We've made them so big, and in many cases they can't do things that ducks can do in the wild. Because we've done that, Jimmy's, because we've done that, we have to compensate with that in rearing, that we have to do extra things and go the extra mile. Because for all intensive purposes, these are the doggos in the duck world, and the ducks you see in the wild are the wolves. So just like you couldn't leave a dog out in the wild and expect it to have a good chance of survival, it's the same scenario. Ducklings. So up to 8 weeks, heat lamp, and you know, also they have enough space to get away from the lamp if it's too warm for them, and you need to adjust the height of the lamp so they don't cook. If they're panting and look like they're melting, obviously it's too hot in there. You need to raise the lamp up a little bit, you know, prop it up somehow, and yeah. And then after 8 weeks, they go into a duck feed. Good girl, you exercise that leg. See, if there's a fracture, it's probably the worst thing for them to do is to exercise their leg like that. However, if it's a small hairline fracture, if it's like a very minute, it's okay. You know what I mean? But complete break, usually, with breaks, you'll usually find their legs will start hanging, that sort of thing. But I'm kind of leaning towards more of a sprain. What degree? I don't know. But just from the swelling, and it has come down a little bit in her ankle there, so that's a good sign. So this kind of movement's good for her with a sprain. That's fine. And then when she's not swimming, we will need it to be supported. So I'm probably going to strap it somehow. But because they're growing so quickly, it's quite, like literally on a daily basis, they've grown 1 centimetre, 2 centimetres, an inch. And if you strap up too much, you can interfere with the growth of their legs. So it's kind of, you know, we'll see. Their bedding is so nice and soft, you know, so it's not like she's on a hard surface. And they sleep a lot. They'll play and eat, and then they'll sleep. And their voices are starting to change. Yeah. Bella's baby here's starting to do the little warps, grunt warps. That could be the breed, or she could be a boy. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, honey. It's the right leg. Oh, you get me confused. I need to pop her up on the counter, and then I can have a look. I might even just call my avian vet down in Burwood, make an appointment over the phone, and send him some footage, see what he says. Because, yeah, again, if I look how big she is though compared to her younger, well, only by a few hours, but still she's a big puppy to be born last. Good darling. Oh, wee. I'll come get you out soon. Yeah, we don't want to push it. Yeah. So I've got a big basket. So when I take them out, I've got towels waiting for them. I basically pop them all in the towel, and I've got a basket, because if I take one and walk off, they'll jump off the cabinet, and I just don't want any injuries. So I've got a basket that I'll put them all in at once, so we all go together into the room where they've got their basket. Hey, Bob. You're loving the minties, aren't you? Yeah. You're so like your mama. You are. There's so many things you do that it's like your mummy. You all are. I can't believe how much like your parents you are. What you doing, puppy? I haven't even named them all yet. Priestess is being a bit crazy. Hello, sweetie. Oh, Bella's baby, look at you. She'd be so proud. You see your darker feathers developing at the back. Yeah, and in your wingtips. Yeah, sweetie. Oh, Sona's baby. Sona's baby. Wee wee. How's it, baby? No, you're having fun. Is it a good time? Good time. Yeah. I need to move the heat lamp from their sleeping box to their parents' box because they're going into their parents' box, which is a lot bigger during the day. And yeah, I need to go do that, and then I can get these guys out, so I'll have their bed ready for them. Well, their daycare, so to speak. Hello. I'll put the zoom in. Zoom on the camera. Look at you, honey. Your mama would be so proud. Yeah. Oh, puppy. That's one with the swollen ankle. As soon as puppy. And the one at the back there's Fenrir's baby. She's got the same really chunky cheeks as her mum's got. And Tiggy Winkle's the one with the swollen ankle. She's very long like her mum. It has the same sort of face, sort of structure like her mum. Pants like her mama too. No, lots of exercise. Yay! She's really exercising those legs. So that's another indicator of injury is, can they swim? If they can't swim at all, this is really not a good prognosis. Like even disabled Catherine, she can actually swim quite well even though she's, you know, disabled. Yeah. So that left ankle, that left hock, it's definitely sitting back a little bit further than the right, and it's a little swollen. She's over here on the left. Definitely. I don't know if you can see that in there. Probably about a few millimeters, not a great deal, but just enough for it to be sitting back a little bit further than what I'd like. Depending on what she's done, if it's the bones, she might actually have a little bit of a limp for the rest of her life, we'll see. But if it's just muscular, that will be fine. She'll be, you know, normal. Oh, darling, what did you do? Hey, what did you do to your ankle? Now, to get to my avian vet, it's literally a whole day trip and public transport, and I just, you know, taking these guys in public transport, they need the heat lamp, they're growing, and all that sort of thing. I just, yeah, there's no vets around me that can adequately look after or screen the avian. There's one in the Ballarat CBD. They're not avian per se, but they do look after birds as well. But they literally charge 4 times the amount. And there's one lady there that basically takes care of wildlife when they come in, the birds. But it's kind of weird. Like, where am I going for time? It's kind of weird. Like, you'll find there's 2 types of vets you'll come across, or people that, you know, are involved with animals. And you've got the ones that, I don't know, can I say it? They almost feel like they're not human. Like, they're lacking a bit of the empathy chip. And then you have the ones that genuinely are just obsessed about the critter. They're usually specialised in one species, and they're all gung-ho. That's their life, and that's what my vet in Burwood is like. They're basically for the birds. And you know, like they would say, oh no, we won't do surgery because the risk of the loss of life is not worth it, type of thing. Whereas the one down here will be like, oh, surgery straight away, and it's just a risk, you know. that sort of. So as a pet owner, as someone who has animals in, you know, their custodianship, I guess you need to decide early on, like what you need to decide what kind of person you are, and well, you know what kind of person you are, but you need, you know, who you're going to leave in, whose hands you're going to leave your critters in. And I know unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that just see animals as things, you know, things to sort of collect, and they don't really have an emotional or a spiritual connection to their beings. They see them as stuff to acquire, and therefore it's not like they don't have that instinct of, oh, that looks uncomfortable for the critter, you know, or that critter looks in distress. They would have no idea, and they wouldn't even think to go and research. God, you just looked at me like your mama then. You did. Puppy. It's very, yeah, it's crazy. You'd think there'd be heaps of good vets out there. You know, I know it's very stressful for people working in the industry, because a lot of the time the practitioners working under orders of their place they're working at, and they have to charge ridiculous prices at times, or, you know, so I know it can be pretty tricky on them, but, you know, usually in that sort of scenario you'll end up having some vets will just break off and do their own practice and join with like-minded, instead of just thinking it as a, you know, who do I work for? There's, okay, there's no need being met here, I'll just go and create my own little niche cut out so the animals can get the help they need. What are you doing? You got one leg on the bath bottom, you got one for swimming. You're just having the best time, aren't you, Carlin? Look at you. I love your bib. You got the cutest little bib and spots on your wings. Yeah. Is that good? Yeah, lots of exercise. You're going to sleep well. Yes, you are.